I'll open when we go live. Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? What's up? I'm Abstracts. That's Streets. That's Trigger Mike, the ologist in Black Steel. He's hard all the time.
That was unnecessary.
My man.
Yeah, I know, man. you just have to just go in and just make things your own way.
Because before we started live recording, we were having an interesting conversation about the nature of conservatism, and I was trying to work it to this big reveal that scared me. It scared one of my homeboys.
What was the reveal?
The Senator Braun, he's against interracial marriage, an issue I was thoroughly convinced the entire country had already fucking moved past.
Why would you think that?
Well, technically, it's not.
Oh, he's not. No, he's not.
Marriage. He just thinks it's something that should be left up to the state.
Right.
So that he can pretend that he's what he said wasn't racist as hell.
Which is anytime they say state rights, it's a marketing ploy for them to say, you don't want the world, you want the world to work the way you want. You don't want anyone to tell you what to do. Making it more of an issue of who's telling you what to do rather than what's being said. Who the fuck? Like, let me explain how bad this is. I have a rant for this and then I will shut up. I promise I will shut up. Mitch McConnell is married to a woman of a different race. I do not know what race she is. She's of Asian descent. Thank you. Thank you so much. His son-in-law is black. Oh God, there's so many examples of this.
He'd still be racist.
That's what I'm saying, though. To go against interracial marriage are making it some bullshit state issue. There are interracial couples that are conservative. There's interracial Americans. There's so much of that. And this fucker came out of his face to say this shit. Like, there are interracial couples that vote with you. Nope.
Why do you think that matters, man? Like
that's it. Because it's so unbelievably fucking dumb. I mean, Candace Owens is married to a white dude. Like, you want to lose her, your black mouthpiece?
Yeah, because he doesn't like her.
He don't give a shit. He don't care.
Yeah,
he don't care. He does not care.
I don't understand the shooting.
Aaron.
The premise that they think people of non-white people are people. Like,
no, but abstract. There's nobody in this country that can take a 23andMe test and it's going to say 100% Irish, 100% Italian. Everybody's mixed.
I am.
Everybody has variation in them. So he's saying that because he wants to maintain power. It's all a ploy for him to have the stuff that he wants to have, the material things, and to wield the type of power that he wants to have. And he's dog whistling to the folks that he needs to maintain that. And the whole stuff for states, like for states' rights, as what we discussed offline, they want to be able to, if need be, basically, when during what do you call it? Manifest Destiny. They're moving out west. It's called circling the wagons. They want to be able to relocate to certain states and have them basically be able to concentrate themselves and then be able to make laws and pass state laws that are different than other countries. Their population is dropping. It dropped noticeably in the last census. Most minority groups, Hispanics grew. Everybody else either grew at a slow rate or maintained their rate. White folks, the number of the white population went down. They're getting nervous.
It's just, I get.
And they don't, and they and they don't want to be minorities in this country because they know how minorities are treated, but they don't want to change how they behave.
That's the part I don't understand. You can have, like, cop to some of the race shit. I know black dudes that would vote for you. Attacking gay marriage. I was convinced, bruh. I was thoroughly convinced that was an issue. Like, what? 80-90% of the country moved past, and some of these dudes are recently coming after that. Like, who the fuck cares? I was convinced.
Aaron, because they have not actually moved past it. They've just been bullied into silence.
Yeah, sometimes stuff is just latent.
Past anything,
Aaron,
just have been shamed into not being able to talk about it out loud.
Yeah, Aaron, I think
that's why they're all mad about political correctness.
I think that you have maybe have underestimated the depths of hatred that some white people in this country have, and the lengths that they'll go to keep to maintain the amount of power that they have. I really, I mean, come on, a lot of
is usually half full. This shit was just shattering the glass and watching it spill on the floor. Well, I do want to say this while it's recording. If the pandemic and everything else in my own life that has taught me one thing, it's this: there are people that would rather die than change. And in some really fucked up cases, they'd rather kill you than change.
Yeah, but that's how the world has always been, Aaron.
And you know what? I also believe a lot of these old white guys have this fear that one day they ain't gonna be in power and they're gonna have to deal with they're gonna be dealt with like how they've dealt with other people. You know what I mean? I think that's what it is. I really think that it's like, you know what? What happens if I'm the only white guy in the room and I don't have no power? Nobody else has power. What are they gonna do to me? And I think that's what fuels a lot of these sentiments and some of these statements these people make sometimes. But
rather than
just if you want to go more into that, look at the like the slave rebellion in Haiti. Just research that. It'll be explicit about that and what happened and how they felt and when Haitians actually took over and did to them what white folks had did to them. It's insane. Research it.
Anyhow, Gales of the Mind, episode 31. I'm Street Librarian, Abstract Mikeologist, and Black Steel's in the house. We talk politics and shit. So this week was the confirmation hearings for Ketanji Brown Jackson this week, and Republicans really went full retard. To be honest, these some Republicans. I know Ted Cruz has won one, and who was the other guy? I mean, they really just.
The Republican senator out of Nebraska. I think jackassery is how he phrased it.
Jackassery, exactly.
Yes, the sass guy. He literally called it out. He's like literally said like, I have the members of my own party doing this for sound bites and Twitter feeds. Oh look, Ted Cruz, you're checking to see if you were just called. Yeah, jackass. I knew it was going to be like this. You knew it was going to be a lot of grandstanding, but to me, it was the level that they went. They stooped on her. You know what I mean? And it's like you knew she was qualified. She didn't have any skeletons in her closet. At least nothing that was come out. And they were just trying. They were just scooping the bottom of the barrel, talking about her sentencing of child molesters. And then they said something about our babies born racist. It was just so, I normally am not shocked by things. And then like I was shocked, but it was like, damn, they really went there. I was like, wow, they really just they were like the kitchen sink, the everything beneath it, the floor beneath the sink, everything else they could throw at her. I'm a little ashamed. It took me a while to realize this because like at first I didn't understand what Josh Hawley was talking about. And then it just dawned on me. Somewhere between talking with you guys, I figured it out. If you're mad at a judge's discretion, especially when a judge's discretion is in line with the other federal judges, shore up the law. You're blaming a judge for using discretion that was given to her by Congress. Change the law.
Why are you trying to think about this logically when that's not how these people are thinking?
No,
these senators are trying to trip someone up.
No, it just shows
any method they can to try and trip her up and try and sabotage her hearing. That's all it's about, or grandstand to their constituency. Those are
shit they normally go about. Though,
no, but it just shows their bias because and some of the information that I shared with folks on the cast earlier this week, looking at the memorandum of sentences on one of her cases when the prosecutor and the public the defense lawyer was trying to get the types of sentences that they wanted. They quote a bunch of past cases related to similar issues. There was one case that I read from the defense lawyer where somebody they got convicted of child pornography. They were supposed to get like 70, 80 months in jail. They got like 1 day in jail and the rest probation.
Are you sure
like
wasn't that one they got 5 months or 9 months when they were supposed to get like 2 or 3 years?
No, there was one person that got 1 day. It was in the thing in the PDFs that I sent y'all.
This is her judgment or her? No,
not hers. It was it was memorandum of sentence. You write a memorandum to the judge. This is we want you to sentence in this range. And we're going to give you all of these factors. We're going to give you past cases, this, that, and the other. There was one for the prosecution, the prosecution where they're finding all the cases where people got, basically the book thrown at them. And then the defense folks, they find all the cases where the judges use their discretion and were lenient. But if you looked at the different sentences, it's just it was such a wide range. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, similar crimes and the judge's discretions just across the board. There were no standardizations because there's no minimum like required sentencing like there are for other crimes. And
it's almost like the Congress should have shored that up.
Sometimes the Supreme Court does that when they make a decision. They'll make a decision and then they'll say that if the Congress should pass a law to basically require whatever minimum maximum sentence, whatever the issue is, because it needs to be tighter because people get upset with their decisions. And it's like, no, we have to follow the law. And the law gives them that discretion. So, well.
Yep. Also, did anybody else like that she kept saying, I don't really have a political philosophy. I read the law as it is. I don't have an agenda.
I didn't want to watch her again, but she was really getting at them with the rolling of the eyes. She was like really, her nonverbal communication was
well, the thing is
telling. She was reading them. She's like,
y'all understood what
nigga, the fuck
she was saying, ninja, please. She's
like, come on.
That instance where Ted Cruz asked her, do you think babies are born racist? And she like paused.
And she paused. She did that pause. That was a sister pause.
Like we all know what was going on in her mind.
Yeah, she was like,
we do.
What the heck you talking about?
But like all the white people were like, how come she ain't gonna answer the question? Because she's trying to keep her fucking
stupid ass question.
Exactly. She's trying to remain seated and not walk up there.
Yeah.
I did feel bad because like some of this shit was like all shit she already answered. There are no actual real questions here.
No, they were testifying themselves in grandstanding. That's what that was for.
Right.
It was show. It was theater.
Right. It was theater. It was just theater. And to be honest, I think
what the guy from Nebraska
what you have to understand that when you're being confirmed for like a position like that, a lot of this is an endurance test. A lot of this is just endurance. It's like, can you deal with someone just kneeling you and you and you know what I mean? Can you deal with that? And I think that's it's the way things are now. I think the way politics are done now.
The Republicans have been mad about Supreme Court nominations ever going all the way back to Robert Bork, who by all intents and purposes was just a right-wing asshole, and they were offended. And I don't know what he did honestly, but his record or his behavior kind of disqualified him, and they have been mad about it.
I remember those here.
Yeah, I remember Robert. I don't know what he did.
Yo, Black Scale, you know who Robert Bork is? Bork.
Yes, the name is very familiar. Was either senator or Supreme Court.
He was a Supreme Court
nomination. Yeah, Supreme Court nominee.
Yeah.
What was that? Late 80s, early 90s, right?
Yeah,
in the 80s.
In the 80s.
Yeah.
It was kind of
in the 80s.
So
Who is Robert Bork?
Are you asking?
Black Steelers are our
nah,
research.
we can't see him go.
He's our research.
Yeah, I'm researching.
He's our research. Our
He's our
fact
fact
checker.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was kind of. I'll go as far as this. When I had heard, I mean, we discussed this earlier. We talked about, Biden says he's going to nominate a black woman to be on the Supreme Court, and I was kind of like, myself and DJ were kind of like, he shouldn't have did that. Because I think he was kind of put himself in the corner. But ultimately, I was like, whatever. He made the campaign promise. But I really, a couple of things I like about it. I like how she handles herself over this time. I also like the fact that she's a public defender, and I think that to me is something that that stands out more than anything, to be honest. Even more than
it's refreshing that she's not a prosecutor.
She's not a prosecutor.
Streets. She can't be doing that.
And I really like that. I like, I think they need more diversity of thought from the legal standpoint on the bench, and not just
they need more balance.
They need more balance,
So
right?
How you doing?
Definitely diversity.
All right.
And I was also impressed, and I also was actually impressed for first time in a long time with Cory Booker. He kind of filled their bucket up. I don't think she needed it, but I think he used his time to kind of just big her up in a way. Which hey, it's crooked is low as they're going. Hey, he can do something else too. He can build her up. So I was really impressed with him for doing that in that standpoint.
Yeah.
Really shouting her out and giving her and really filling up her bucket as the kids say.
But it was just it was really stressful watching the whole thing, because I mean, just listening to these white people just say, we don't trust your credentials, and we don't think you got here, so we're just going to bully you about stuff. To try to elicit some sort of emotional response so that we can get to where we want to go. I think I went and checked. I saw it on TikTok, and then I went and checked the GOP Twitter feed, and I know I texted this to everybody, but they really did make a GIF with Judge Brown Jackson's face and her initials, and then the animation crossed the initials out and replaced it with CRT.
About that.
Well,
so this has been on my mind because I went on Instagram after just watching it or listening to it on the radio. The CRT thing with her name, to me, that just screams of Republican marketing, just because this is all what this was. Yeah. I gotta be honest though, if it was any other nominee, race, G or whatever, wouldn't they have done all the same shit?
I mean, they would have, but not they would have, but it wouldn't explicitly have been about race that they did it. They just would have. I mean, even if Joe Biden hadn't said he was going to nominate a black woman and then pick the black woman, believe me, that gift would have happened.
Right? Same questions would have happened to you.
Yeah.
Those questions would have happened.
That's what I'm saying about the reaction to it. All my friends on Instagram are saying she was treated in a very racist manner, and I was just watching this shit like, this is every conservative talking point they always bring up. They even had one of the dudes from Texas talk about, how do you feel about what was the Supreme Court case about guns in Washington, D.C.? There was this big Antolin Scalia rule. I think his name was Hagan. My point being, he literally just talked about all the shit that motherfuckers in Texas care about. Like,
let's
different.
So the last black. Wait, hold on a second. Though I want to say something. The last black person that was in that hot seat was Clarence, and Clarence turned harassment into a racial issue and accused the Democratic senators. He called them, "You're lynching me. This is a public lynching."
High-tech lynching.
Yes, he went off, and he got to be the first angry black man in that type of form, and it was okay because they wanted him confirmed.
So they he did what a lot of black people do. The second they get mistreated, they pull out the
no. It was planned. It was orchestrated. It was he did it to gather sympathy. Democratic senators didn't want to be viewed as racist, even though they were advocating trying to stop sexual harassment. Once he did that, he shut them down. It was orchestrated. It was a good move. It's a good move. Got to give him credit. Got to give the Republicans.
That's the problem. Even in that regard, pointing out Clarence Thomas's sexual assault allegations isn't racist.
Harassment, not assault. Harassment of Anita Hill. Let's be accurate.
Sorry.
So, Aaron, the question I was going to ask you is that if let's say that Biden had nominated another white man to be in a position, do you think they would use the whole CRT argument with him?
Yes, because that's all they've been talking about.
It has been, but I don't think that
the former governor of Virginia, the one that lost, is he black?
No.
Didn't they make that entire race about CRT?
Yeah, because it's a subject that activates white people.
I will to Mike's.
At the root of CRT is race baiting.
Right. That was my point. My point.
Anything you don't like about race is CRT. I do believe that's my point.
That's my point. They were using.
They don't understand
as a proxy. They were using it as a proxy.
Anything they don't like. I do believe that. If we wanted to argue the point about something like the race-related treatment, I do feel some of Ted Cruz's testimony, maybe. But seriously, though, I'd say for the most part, with Holly, some of the things with a record, this just seems like all the regular shit I would expect from the Republicans. Hell, especially Lindsey Graham. It just none of it seems very specific. It literally just feels like all the regular Republican talking points.
Pretty much.
To be
speaking of Justice Thomas, his wife made news this week. Old Ginni, Virginia, made news.
My best friend.
Apparently, she had a front row seat or was part of the January 6th uprising. She said that she felt cold and she left early. But I guess also was found out recently is that afterwards she sent she sent Mark Meadows 29 messages to Mark Meadows, I think it is, about the election. So the question I have is like, how do you? The other thing I realized is that Justice Thomas was the only dissenting voice to dissent against the January 6th investigation.
Are you quoting me? Are you bringing up one of my?
I'm quoting the news. I'm quoting the news. God damn it! You just happen to coincide with it. So what do you do? You think that I should say? Do you think what the hell's going on with it? With at the Thomas household, man? It's like, I mean, the way it sounds, it's like his ass should really recuse himself from any sort of decision in regards to January 6th.
He ain't gonna.
I know he's not.
You got that right. Beat me to the fucking punch, you asshole.
But I mean, when you look at the whole story, okay, say she's a conservative and she maybe attended the rally but left early, okay. But then she sent these 29 messages. Then you have her husband who's the only dissenting voice against it. It's like, wow.
I can do you one better. Streets, I can do you one better. What is frequently happening is Clarence Thomas and the rest of the Supreme Court are looking at Trump's businesses, his dealings and actions. And for some of the businesses that Trump associates with, his wife is on the fucking board. Wow. That's not a conflict of interest at all.
I was hoping we get our resident conservative DJ to speak his piece. Yeah, I know. He was sending all these texts and all this this week. Now he's quiet as fish mouth.
Like no. Yeah. Somebody explain to me what the hell happened. Cause like I would just come into the group chat and it'll just craziness.
Yeah,
oh really?
I did not have a lot of
try getting them when you're at home or at work and you get like 13 messages in a row.
I can't help it. I snap because this has been. I didn't even fully know about the news story that broke about Ginni Thomas. I've been aware of all the other shit and most of the Supreme Court cases. What is constantly happening is it goes against precedent. It goes against fucking standing. Clarence Thomas is the lone dissenter. If you wanted to make the case that there is an activist judge, you can make that case with Clarence Thomas. His decisions don't make sense. Anytime the Supreme Court is in a 7-1 decision, he is the one citing some bullshit. We start talking about Ginni, and DJ's basic reaction was like, I don't think most American people care about this. I care about this shit. What are you talking
about? Here's the problem.
Out here,
let's say Nancy Pelosi
laptop.
Let's say Nancy Pelosi
shit over a laptop, but nobody cares about this. Okay, guy.
Right. I care about
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, could you imagine if Nancy Pelosi's husband was at a Black Lives Matter rally? We need the end of it.
During the George Floyd trial, one of the dudes who was a juror had a Black Lives Matter shirt on in one of the pictures. Everyone lost their shit, even though that was also took into court and proven like you can be a supporter of a political movement or whatever and it not bias you. That also got adjudicated, but no.
No, they had a shirt on. There was a card-carrying member. They went to all the meetings. That was his contention because he saw them with a shirt.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on.
The hypocrisy pisses me off.
Let's talk about Ginni some more. Oh, Ginni.
Nah.
Yeah, let's talk about Ginni.
Mike is being the peacemaker. He's being the adult. He wants us to move on.
No, let's
talk.
Let's let our resident fact checker say something. What say you, Black Steel?
Ginni better be careful because January 6th Commission, if they release the more context, they could actually maybe subpoena her. Say, we want to.
Well, they can subpoena her and they can subpoena her records, and that might put Clarence. I said Terrence. That might put Clarence in jeopardy because they might get a whole lot of stuff where the whole activism stuff all comes out.
Right.
Yep.
And then what do you do?
Any activist judges?
What laws does Congress have to? I read Supreme Court justices can be impeached.
Ibra Omar. She actually just suggested this.
Yeah,
I got her name wrong.
One of the things that's confusing me about the whole January 6th thing, the investigation, and them subpoenaing records. To me, why does politicians have privileges that other folks don't do it? I mean, that other folks don't have. What I mean is, if I'm under investigation and they get a subpoena, they're not going to ask me for my cell phone records. They're going to go to my carrier and get the cell phone records. Why do they got to hand them over? You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're who was it? The White House, what is it? The chief of staff, he handed some of them over and then he stopped cooperating. You got a subpoena.
Mark Meadows,
Mark Meadows.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Go to his carrier, get all the records, and keep it moving. He don't have to give you anything.
My guess is that it's
what?
Professional courtesy, I guess.
Why is it professional courtesy? Because in this country, when they taught citizenship when I was a kid, and when certain members on this cast was a kid, nobody's above the law, not even the president. Remember hearing that crap? The world has changed.
But then you realize that there's a game behind the game being played. If you think things are like that, if you think things are played on the up and up, you are sorely mistaken. There is a game behind the game, and the game behind the game is you're not going to subpoena these guys' phone records.
No, subpoena mean they can just show up, raid your house, do whatever they need to do to get whatever they want. That's what a subpoena means.
Right. Well, they're not going to subpoena his phone records.
I wasn't around for Nixon, but I honestly think this goes back to Nixon, and the Republicans saw, through Nixon's actions, they were embarrassed, and I think they're resolved for that to never happen again. And if that means closing ranks, no matter what, then they'll do that. And they found an amazing amount of strength in that because you can overlook a lot of wrongdoing. And that'll be all right. You know, Ronald Reagan committed treason. Ronald Reagan, and he got to keep his job.
George
and everybody knew what happened. And just look the other way. Like the grand problem is no one's ever taken the president to task for the crimes that they commit. Because nobody wants to risk being out of power and then being prosecuted by their successor if it's of the other party, because it usually flips back and forth. So I think that I think Barack Obama on the one hand, you know, just didn't want to go after Bush for all his crimes because, you know, he didn't want to risk being caught up on the decision he made when his replacement comes in. But also, I think there's just an unspoken rule where, like, we don't really punish each other. You know, we call
that above the law,
right? And
we call that kingdom.
They all they all look at each other and say, like, none of us are really ever going to pay any consequences for the things we do. You know. Unfortunately, you see the same thing with corporate business executives. You know, you can fuck up a company. You can fuck up a company and still get a job. The only thing you
pay more.
Mm-hmm. The only thing you can't do and get away with it is steal money from rich people. Mm-hmm. Steal money from rich people, they'll put you in jail. It doesn't matter how rich you are.
That's right. You start a Ponzi scheme, we'll put your ass in jail for 165.
No, well, we're gonna see. Did they convict the lady that with the fake medical device?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they convicted her.
Yep.
Okay. Is there
I don't know what the sentence is,
long? Like, I feel like it's not that long.
Who, hers?
Yeah,
but she stole millions.
I don't know what she. I don't think she's got sentences yet.
I think it's
they sentenced Madoff to what? 165 years. He got like a
if he ain't dead, he gonna die in jail.
He's dead.
You ain't gonna never see the sun again.
But the Sacklers who run Merck, which created OxyContin, they had to give a couple $1 billion and they got to walk away. Their company wasn't seized. You know, their assets weren't seized.
There's another issue with them that they did something to stop some sort of judgment. I have to look it up, but something happened recently with them that they got out of some sort of trouble in regards to it. They were exonerated to some degree about something. I forget exactly what though.
But I was saying this earlier, and again, I know I said I don't like talking about people behind their back, but I think DJ is an example of people who look for some sort of order to what we see going on. And, you know, and a lot of people end up casting about it and finding conspiracy theories. They find, you know, networks of people who reflect them. And all you can really do is to the best of your ability, be patient and provide facts. And if they want to come out, they'll come out. And if they don't, they don't. But you ultimately gotta end up protecting yourself, right? You know, people who seek help will get it. People who want help will get it. People who will get it when they're ready. You know, people will seek therapy or truth or whatever, or way out when they need it. Sometimes, and that's just the thing. You just gotta accept it.
I have
like I said, I don't like to talk about folks behind their back. I'm just trying to smooth things out.
It's okay. I have a quote that I've always taken to heart. It's by Alan Moore. The main thing that I learned about conspiracy theory is that a conspiracy theorist believes a conspiracy because that is more comforting. The truth of the world is that it is actually chaotic. The truth is that it's not the Illuminati or the Jewish banking conspiracy or the great alien theory. The truth is far more frightening. Nobody is in control. The world is rudderless.
Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes.
There are.
I mean, no, it's not one. It's not one sole person, but they are group. They're. I don't know.
I knew you weren't going to like the quote entirely, but gets to the heart of what Mike was trying to express.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that that every conspiracy theory is true, but time has proved that some of the things that were far-fetched in certain eras were actually true. It just came to light later, but folks couldn't fathom that. I don't know. I don't understand why people don't think that people with means and power can do horrific things and can keep secrets and keep things hidden. Like, I don't know why people.
You know what it's beginning.
Here's what I. All right, I'll put you like this. I think what conspiracy is. I think that rich and powerful people can have many secrets and things that we don't know about. As I mentioned, the game behind the game. I also think that conspiracies, in terms of large scale conspiracies, are so hard to keep secret. You know what I mean? Like, okay, like, let me think of one that
world is flat.
I'm thinking something that could be that people are in control of. Like a secret. You know what I mean? They're hard to keep secrets. You know what I mean? Let's say I have some money hidden, and I'm going to hide it somewhere, and I tell you guys about it. And I said, don't tell anybody. You're going to tell. One of you are probably going to tell somebody, and then somebody will tell somebody else, and eventually, you know what I mean? So it's conspiracies I find hard that are hard to keep secrets, because people are people. They talk.
No, but how many?
Got a counterpoint to Streets' point. The thing is, most of the quote unquote conspiracy theories that have a monicum of truth based on them, we all know who's doing what. We have a general idea. Like, for instance, Trump with the Saudi Arabia deal in regards to weapons or whatever, or even some of the business dealings he had that were really for his personal business. It's almost like they're kind of like open secrets. Biden inappropriately touching people. We all know that's something that happened. We knew about the the Biden laptop story beforehand. That was a blurb on the news. These things aren't that well hidden. It's whether or not do we have enough attention on them for everyone to talk about them or not.
No, well, put it this way. Like, the way that I look at it is like, it's stuff common knowledge, and can stuff be fact checked, improved? I mean, people can keep secrets. The U.S. military kept a secret of the development of the nuclear bomb. That had thousands of people.
Back then.
And so you don't think that the military now can develop something and that like thousands of people can know about it and we wouldn't know about it, and it comes out 30 like it. I don't know why everybody thinks the time
of that. You know about the government microwaves, the microwave emitters. They were
that's old. That's actually an old technology. That's been around for a while, and it's becoming mainstream now.
Did anybody else know about the high-powered government microwaves from the Batman movie? Apparently, I actually read a government document explaining it. One of my conspiracy theories friends shared this on me as some type of gotcha, and I was like, oh, I guess this exists.
Let me put it. Here's what I'm saying. I don't. Yeah, I do think there are government secrets and things that people know in terms of government conspiracies that we don't know about. I just don't think it's that. I just don't. I don't think everything's conspiracy. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying everything. I can't exclude the possibility that they exist. That would be not science. However improbable. It can be whatever percent, low percentage, not possible. It's still possible. And people just want to say if it's a conspiracy that is totally improbable and it couldn't happen. That's not science.
Right. But I don't know. It's conspiracy theories are funny. They're funny. So anyhow, in other news, in the Georgia Senate race. Herschel Walker versus Pastor Warnock. Is a close race. What I want to gather. What are your feelings about Herschel Walker as a candidate? Let me start with you, Black Steel. What say you? Are you voting for the former USFL athlete, mixed martial
NFL,
arts.
Dallas Cowboys, give them full credit.
NFL.
No, I'm not. I was talking to
go ahead.
And I said to DJ, I said, in all honesty, is it so much that Republicans hate having a Democratic senator that they're willing to vote for someone who represents their party very poorly? And I said, I honestly believe, wait until they have a debate. So I understand there's 3 primary candidates. Once they have a substantial debate, the public will be able to see how, and I don't want to diss the brother, how bad he is in expressing himself and his etiquette and everything like that.
Yes.
You'd have to, any reasonable person, I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican, I can't vote for this person to represent my party. I'm sorry. I know I don't like Warnock.
What's reasonable?
And I want my party to whomever, but he's going to represent me. There's no way. And DJ was like, "You're right, Sean." He said, "Go ahead."
I sent a text earlier. I was like, if I was a rank and file Republican, or if I was a Black Republican in particular, I'd be insulted.
Yeah,
because it's like you tell me you can't pick any candidate better than this guy. This guy who has all these bones in his closet. He apparently, I don't know if you heard a few years ago, he was saying he had multiple personalities.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it's like, really, you want this guy to be senator?
Exactly.
I think this much. I think they think that if they get someone that's so stupid, for lack of a better word, they can just feed him everything he need to do. Manipulate him and just say, here's your talking points. You say these things here.
You vote this way. You vote this way. Okay.
Okay, master. Okay.
Okay, coach.
It's like,
let's not go with the master. Okay, coach.
Okay, coach. And I can, I'm not a conservative, but I can understand someone that is a conservative and has conservative points of view. If they at least can elaborate their own points of view. This guy can't even elaborate his own point of view, man. It's like, are you serious?
It's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing, yo. It's like, come on. It's but again, it goes back to my thought earlier that you have a party that's essentially dinosaurs, and they are trying to find whatever way they can to stay relevant and to keep themselves relevant in this day and age. And in this case, they ran to Herschel.
Here's the issue, and I talked to DJ. Him and I talk a lot about stuff, and I said, DJ, you know what? The Republican Party, instead of them trying to expand their tent, right, and get more people in their party, what do? They lie, they cheat, and they steal.
Okay, Eddie Guerrero. It's
all right.
Everything you said sounds like what my earlier point was.
Latino.
Well,
I still don't understand it. I'm like, if your goal is to win, and you have the potential of getting more voters by just changing your message a little or copying to some of the shit, do it so that you win. Now, I'd rather lose than change. What?
All right, people like Candace Owens, it's not going to get me to convert to the Republican Party.
Here's the Republican Party thinks. They're not interested in maybe you, the rank and file voter. They're interested in someone who's maybe sort of fringe Democrat, who maybe it doesn't, or maybe considers themselves a Republican, who hears this and they'll go for them. So say out of 10 people, say you have 10 people and 8 out of 10 people vote Democrat, Black people. If I can get 2 or 3, that's something, you know what I mean? And that evens it up. And I think that's their thinking. And it's like, I think
there's a lot of French people.
Yeah, there are a lot of French people. This pandemic, this whole Trumpism, that's a fringe movement that essentially gained access to the White House. And unfortunately, it's validated a lot of fringe sort of conspiratorial thinking, which is going to be around for quite a while.
Oh wait,
Well,
can
let's,
I use a Batman quote? Wait, ologist, I'd like to use a Batman quote.
Oh
I see
God.
victory.
well, no, I'm about to do it. I'm about to do a counterpoint. As we said earlier, the Democrats have a bigger tent, but when it comes to really sharing, or I shouldn't say sharing, when it really comes to putting minorities of color in real powerful positions to shape the party and in a long-term fashion over time, that hasn't happened either. It's still being run. The 10 is bigger. They get bigger votes from a diverse group of folks. But who really runs
what
against
about Obama?
Yeah, but okay, let's compare and contrast Obama to Trump. Trump base, he went after his base, he got his base, he did, as an executive, he did a lot of stuff that directly benefited his base. Obama may have looked like us, but what did he do directly to benefit us? He did stuff. Sometimes people are figureheads and they can't really do what they want to do because he didn't probably have enough support throughout the party to do the stuff if, and I'm going to stress that, if he wanted to do it.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Here, I had a discussion. I'm glad you brought that up. I had a discussion with DJ again about this. So Obama wanted to be everyone's president, not just the black, the black president for Black America. Because if he signed executive orders or had Congress pass certain laws that predominantly benefited Black people, but some people will be offended by it. So he had to, pick and choose what he wanted to do. But Trump, on the other hand, didn't give a fuck.
Exactly. Exactly. Wait, hold on 1 second. I want to
small time.
No, I want. Let me respond. Let's just say, in the next, next 10 years, AOC runs and AOC continues to be AOC. She's going to push a certain agenda, and I think that it would benefit certain groups, and she's not going to care if she has to fight within her party. She's going to fight within her party.
Right.
She's not backing down. Obama did not do that because it was sort of, how can I say it? In this political system, we were sort of conditioned, if a Black person ever gets into that position, like there's only going to be limited things that they can do. Whereas if a white person gets in that position, they can do whatever the hell they want to do. That's what Trump did.
Right.
Right. And also Trump is the reason for black backlash, right? Because Trump is an explicitly white president. I mean, and he campaigned in that way. And sure, he was only and he was explicitly racist without ever having to say the words. He was explicitly racist. And because he never said the bad words, the middle of the road white people could pretend that what he was doing wasn't racist.
Yep.
But everybody knew what was up. And it's sad.
Yeah, he's not racist. You just misinterpret what he said.
No, listen, guys.
He did say some of these people coming on the border are good.
He only hit me because I needed to learn better.
No, Republicans do that every time. No, Republicans always do this. They always give one soundbite that they can record and play over and over of them doing the opposite of what they really want to do. Right. And they play it over and over to prove that, I said it before. Play the tape. And it's the same tape. It might be 20 years old. Play the tape.
So let me ask you this question. What do you, since you're essentially saying that, and I agree with you, largely. You're saying it's too much that Republicans could be is go as far right as they want to go, and they will essentially still keep themselves in a race in many cases. And they'll get a lot of votes in many cases. Whereas Democrats always play center left. They'll go more
play center left,
or they'll maybe go. They're not center left. They'll play center.
Center
trending right.
Right party.
Center trending right. What would be your diagnosis. What do you think it should do? What can they do for a healthy party, or is there anything they can do? Can the Democrats govern in a way that's not center right as they do now?
Well, put it this way: if
from the money,
yeah, exactly. That's the first step. But if you truly want to be a big tent, you have to be a big tent, and you have to have folks in leadership positions that reflect your base, and it ain't happening.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't watch Joe Rogan anymore. Not that I ever really watched a lot of it, but I did hear a clip of him saying like he has friends who said they'd vote for Republicans if they just get off the anti-gay shit. You know, like there's lots of people who think the Republican agenda is innocuous, but because they are anti-gay, they don't really care about the racism because white people are not used to recognizing and
because racism is gone. You had a black president.
Yeah, it's gone.
Convenient.
And it's just, you know, like you got all these middle of the road guys that seem to think that like the Republicans are the ones being reasonable and the people on the left are being unreasonable because we demand that people be treated equally and that, you know, trans people be able to participate in sports. You know, like that's the unreasonable thing. That's how far to the right the Republicans have been able to change this whole goddamn country.
No, Republicans have controlled the marketing narrative, and this is what I mean. On the right, they can be emotional and irrational, and it's described as that's their birthright, that's their heritage. It's okay. When the left, they view leftists as, they're these emotional folks that don't understand how the world operates, and if they were to ever get power, they would ruin everything. But it's their heritage to be emotional, irrational, all of this stuff. It's their birthright, and that makes it okay.
Oh, can I get the share screen? I'm working on a way to illustrate this. My art is really terrible, but I'm trying to find a good way to illustrate the tent phenomenon.
So you're gonna
hold on a second. I just noticed.
So you're gonna suggest this to your bad art.
Wait, hold on a second. I gotta ask you something abstract.
You're great at encouraging people.
Is that an owl or a cat in the background? Is that an owl or a cat? What the hell is that?
That's an owl.
That's a barn owl.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's a poster for a Deftones album called Diamond Eyes.
Okay.
Big Deftones fan.
Go ahead. Share away, man. Share away. So none of you think Herschel's gonna come out with a surprise victory? He's pretty close in the polls.
Cool.
As DJ was saying, Herschel won. He's pretty close in the polls.
No, I think
I think the polls are off because I don't like their polls poll a certain type of person, and just how Georgia, as I said before, nobody expected Georgia, to a southern state, to ever vote for a Democratic president anytime soon. All indicators seem to point towards Texas as being the first state that was going to flip with the growing Hispanic population, and for Georgia to do it with a large like the largest minority really being black folks. Nobody saw that coming, man. So they're not polling those people. They're not polling black folks.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
Man, what are you
what the hell is this, man?
All right, so I've had this like
weird inverted.
I know I didn't do a good job of drawing it, but this is kind of how I saw the big tent, little tent issue. Here you have at the top, right up here, the Democratic base. It's very diverse. It's very large. It's where the most people are. As it starts trailing off, you get people who are more moderate. I think in order to get anything done, you have to be somewhat moderate. For instance, where I may like AOC and shit, I see the Joe Bidens of the world, the Mitt Romneys of the world being closer to this and being able to get things done. The Republicans off here, their big problem is there's less people like this. Are homogenous? They're less homogenous, less different, less diverse of a background. So off rip, it's not as many of them. That's what I'm kind of get out. There's a decent balance where you're in the purple zone, where it's the middle where you're more effective, where there could even be some of that overlap. There's been times where I'm trying to be very nice. Yes, my econologist. I'm about to say some really bad senators where I've seen Lindsey Graham or, damn it, Lindsey Graham or Mitt Romney agree with something that Joe Biden was doing. Again, my idea being somewhat moderate allows us to function. Ideally, I'd rather have someone more closer.
No, being moderate allows them to get corporate dollars. Yeah. And there's been systematic things because back before they passed the corporations, our people laws, I believe that the NEACA and the teachers unions affiliated with the service workers ones, because the NEACA, that's professional, and the the AFTs, American Federation of Teachers, those were the biggest contributors to the Democratic elections, like for president, for local elections. And then they passed all that because it was constraints. And when they lifted those constraints, each year the teachers unions and other unions are dropping lower and lower on the list. So they have to play that game to go after the corporate dollars. Going after corporate dollars means corporate control.
And which also would mean they're beholden to a smaller group of people.
Correct.
The size of the cone is to demonstrate being held to a less diverse group of people. This could be in terms of homogeny or straight up population. I know this red group is supposed to be really big, but you know what I'm trying to get at, right?
And when I say corporations, I actually mean the people who own the corporations, not the corporations. Koch brothers, for example.
I feel like those two things are so synonymous that doesn't make
no. I mean, corporations they're big entities made up of people, but it's the people on the boards that control the funding that decide to give the money, and that's a very narrow group of people. So you actually have very few people that they are actually serving. Like, they don't care about the person that's working at the AT&T cell phone store, but the folks on the board at AT&T that decides to contribute to your campaign, that's who they care about.
Aaron, are you two sharing your
wonderful artistic ability?
This is how I've been thinking about it for like the last 2 or 3 weeks, and why that's a problem. I just wanted to share this, and that's just kind of like my idea. It's unfortunately you can have so much of a diverse group of people you're trying to pull from. What you were trying to say about Obama, trying to be everyone's president, means you don't get
but Aaron, Aaron, if you go back, now I got to say, like, what might correct me if I misshoot the years. You go back 60 or 70 years, that was the Democratic base at the top. It was that big. It wasn't it didn't have the corporate influence. It was working class folks.
It was working class union folks.
Yep.
A lot of union workers, But
folks. Even so, people, a lot of people don't realize this. I forgot what years it was. At the height of unions' popularity, that was the Freakonomics podcast. Unions were 30%. It was only like a 30% unionized workers in the United States at the height.
Aaron, give yes. Street Librarian control of the podcast again. Okay, this is enough. I've seen enough. I've seen what I needed to see.
boy, that formal education. This is really just it's hurting you, huh? Huh, Mike? Look at the angles; they all wrong. Just look, Mike. It's hurting.
No.
I've seen the structures.
Yeah, that's how they would actually spell it. Trump won.
Okay, we're good. Thank you. We're good. We're good.
Please stop.
We're good now. We're good.
Fine, Mike. Next time you draw the graphic. You draw the graphic, all right?
the one
I
thing
won't
that
share
I think
anymore. Goddamn.
Go ahead.
street library. I think
Go ahead,
the one
Steven.
thing that has been kind of glossed over because of Ukraine and everything else that's in the news is this Bill Barr interview that he's getting ready to put out a book, and as I said in the chat, the election 2020 is closed for me because the Attorney General said that there was no evidence of any widespread voter fraud.
And then he had to resign.
And then, if the Attorney General, the same Attorney General who said Trump didn't do anything wrong in the Mueller report, we got to believe him then and we got to believe him now, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's
that's all, a good point.
Yeah. Done deal.
Good point, man. Good point. Speaking of Ukraine, we are officially a month into Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
Goalposts have moved.
Yeah, they have. I think they're in the capital at this point. They've sort of taken over the capital, and they're in another capital now at this point.
So they haven't taken over any capital.
They haven't? Because I thought they went to Kyiv.
They're sort of in control of Mariupol. Sort of. It's not real. Yeah. It's not really like the main problem is like Russia was supposed to win this handily, and we're a month in and they ain't got shit. Yeah. Like
again, they ass kicked.
You wonder if somewhere they
Putin's actually lost some ground. Apparently,
you wonder if somewhere Putin is thinking, "Man, was this that good an idea? Was this?"
He doesn't have the capacity.
No. Vladimir Putin is not a person. He's not doubting himself. He's literally blaming everyone around for failing him.
Yo, Mike, real talk. I heard something crazy. It's not. I kept thinking like they had some of their army in reserve. No, apparently it's all been there. Like I'm sure they have somebody in reserve, but not that many troops. Like
who you're referring to?
Russia. Most of their troops are there, like the majority of them, a great majority of them.
I don't know.
And they're losing.
What I do know is that when you surround yourself by sycophants and yes man, and then sort of who are all afraid to tell you that this will be harder than you think, this is the kind of shit that happens.
Oh, comrade, this is not a good idea, man. I don't know.
Like they really did.
I send you to Siberia.
Plans. Yeah. They really worked into their invasion plans that between 30 and 50% of the existing Ukraine military would just side with them and help take over the country.
Yeah, I just wonder what was his plan.
I think I got it.
Use Ukrainian infrastructure to fuel their tanks. Meanwhile, the Ukrainians just like emptied out everything. Like the citizens just emptied out everything. Like they really just expected to be able to roll through this country with the support of the people.
All right.
You mean like they did in Afghanistan?
Yo, their top general just said they're changing their operation directive. They're not trying to take the entire country. They are now just going to be holding on to the eastern part of Ukraine. Yeah. Meaning they are beginning to back the fuck down.
I kind of think that was their plan all along. You know what I mean?
They're trying to take the country intact. Like you got to think about it. Russia is either the second or the third biggest military power in the world. We have not seen films. No. We have not seen films of them just carpet bombing Ukraine. They're trying to take the country intact. Russia does have that capability. And that's how come it's a ground war, and that's how come it's slow. Putin may be there for the long haul. If he wanted to like nuke and pave, and not when I say nuke and pave, I don't mean use like nuclear weapons or tactical nuclear weapons, but if he wanted to bomb them, yes, they could. And we know that they have limited resources because that Ukraine has limited resources, because remember, Poland was trying to sneak them some US planes and we didn't want to get involved because we didn't want our military equipment engaging Russian military equipment, and Russia seeing that as an act of war. So if Russia wanted to unleash the Krakens, meaning their Air Force, they could do it. This would be a totally different thing, but they want to take it. They want to take the country intact, and everybody's hyping up this whole thing. It's not. It's more of a conquest or a campaign. It's not really war, if you understand what I mean, because you're trying to take something intact. To me, war means you're trying to obliterate them and get them to.
But they're destroying buildings and all this other shit. They're destroying some of that.
Yeah, they are. But what I'm saying is, like, when they're like when we were in Afghanistan, when we were in Iraq, we like the way that we do it, and I'm sure Russia has the capability. We go in for air support, we bomb every damn thing, take out infrastructure, this, that, and the other, and then we roll in with the ground forces. They rolled in with they're trying to take.
That's tactical. You know, that's
that's war. No, that's war. Right. We're trying to end this as quickly as possible. We're not trying to obliterate you and like we're trying to obliterate you and to get you to surrender as quickly as possible. We don't want to. We don't have an
analogy for it. There's this idea when you start fighting someone, you hold a threat over their head to get them to capitulate. Makes it easier for you. But the second you start say, hey, if you don't surrender, I'm going to shoot your dog. What the fuck do you do after you shoot the dog? Because at that point, if it's your dog, you've lost everything. You've lost what you cared about most. So what the fuck do you have to lose? You can't break that person's spirit after you take things away. They kept bombing, attacking, and killing, trying to scare them and to make them capitulate because they're approaching this shit like the Ukrainians are cowards.
Well, no, Aaron, they approached it assuming that Ukrainians wanted to be reunified.
Yes,
with Russia. Mm-hmm. That's like they started from the incorrect premise that that they could just absorb Russian people who just happen to live across the border, and that's not the case. There's lots of Russian people who are like, no, this is Ukraine. I am from Ukraine and Ukrainian. I know I speak Russian, but like this is our country. You can't come in. He's probably switching to what he probably is going to try to hold on to the Donbass or Donetsk and the other two regions that were already in civil war.
Eastern Ukraine, yeah.
And but I wouldn't give them that either. You have to go. You know.
Right. Let me try to do a smaller scale analogy to try to explain the point I'm trying to make. Or we'll use organized crime. Say organized crime wants to move into a new area, a city, a neighborhood. Maybe the organized, they might try to get you to work for them, take a small cut, take sort of basically, for lack of a better term, you still are allowed to operate and do what you do, but you're going to give whatever 80% to us.
Yep.
If you fight back, then they're going to go in, and you say no, then they're going to go in, they're going to wipe everybody out, and then they're just going to take it. Yeah, and Russia's trying to do the first part. And this is what this is. They're not really trying to go in, wipe them out, and then take it over because they
have to fix it. Once they break it, they have to fix it.
Yep. And they don't want money. Yep.
And if they break it to fix it, it's gonna be a human rights catastrophe.
Yeah.
And they have to deal with that. And they don't want that.
And to use organized crime analogy, if you go in and you start killing a lot of folks, then you got to go in, you got to pay off politicians after it's over to make everybody feel safe, this, that, and the other. You got to grease new hands. Yep. And that's the rebuilding that Todd's talking about. Let me ask you this question. Do you think that maybe that Putin's trying to stabilize Ukraine?
No.
So what I can do is, let's say
Ukraine wasn't a wreck of a country.
No.
Well, what I'm saying is, he trying to wreck it to destabilize? That's my question.
Well, he was
destabilize it.
If I wreck it and destabilize it, and then I just and then I'll let whatever warlord that
Yeah, no, that might Todd. That might be the long game.
The guy for that,
right?
No, that might be the long game. I'll destabilize it. It'll waffle for a few years, and then I can go roll in, and people will thank us, and then I can bring in infrastructure. Yeah, that's a possibility. That's a long game.
Well, I think that might have to be his fallback. I really do believe that his primary goal was to basically get to Kyiv, and then remove the existing government, and then reinstate a pro-Russia government. I think that was the primary objective.
Right.
I think right now he is trying to find a way to salvage some sort of victory out of this, but his options are not good.
See, I don't know about that. I think that's Western projection, because we think in victory in our terms, and I think we're projecting that onto like if we were him, blah blah blah. We don't know what his, exactly what his real motivation for doing all of this is. I mean, we've speculated. We understand that he does want it, but he may be like he could be patient. I mean, does
this guy strike you as the type of motherfucker that does patience?
Yes, and this is why. Because no, head of the KGB. Like, you got to be able to play the long game if you're the head of an intelligence agency. You got to be able to.
He could not foresee the spectacular shit show this invasion was going to be.
No,
or that it was
even in intelligence, operations don't always go the way that you want them to go. But you have to be trained for the long game and contingencies. And we're acting like he's just this irrational person. Like it's project.
I would say this is pretty irrational.
Well, then, like, why go in with the military? Like, he could just destabilize the country. He was doing that in the Donbass region already, just feeding these.
I mean, once you have the test run in Crimea, like, he thought it was going to be the same. But just don't think like that he can't do the long game. We act like he's just gonna just spiral out of control.
Well, no, we're not saying he can't do the long game. I dispute that he's. I really don't. I don't think he. I think his plan was to just take over, and like he might have to fall back to a long game, but at this point he's so. I don't know. I can't say he's international.
Yeah, but you got to play the game for where you at now. That might have been his early plan, but he is where he is now.
Well, I think at this point he's trying to save face.
Yeah,
but
I think part of this. I think a lot of this is he didn't expect to get the sort of condemnation he's gotten worldwide. I think he thought he could do this and kind of, people would
new NATO ally
that they wouldn't make as big a stink about it as they are. And people are really, at this point they're really, villainizing himself in Russia.
How long did Russia stay in Afghanistan? How many years?
I don't know. Good question.
A long time.
It was a good amount of years.
A long time. How long did we stay in Afghanistan? A long time.
Yeah.
So I don't know why everybody, because it's in Europe, we got to make it short. Like, people.
Well, like I said, even the announcement was today. They're changing their military plan to hold on to
how many times did they change it in Afghanistan? How many times did we change our plans in Afghanistan?
They are losing most of their soldiers, and they are not winning the ground war.
It's a big country. They got lots of people, and it's darn near totalitarian. Like you're projecting our stuff. Well, we would have to do the draft. No, he can say all able-bodied men like Ukraine did. You coming? Like, this could be a lot more complicated than what people think. We're projecting how we would do it. We're not them. We're not them. They're not us.
The Soviet intervention in Afghanistan was 10 years, 1979 to 1989.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
Long time.
Long time for us to build infrastructure to get off of Russian oil. It's a long time for everyone to just.
No, they didn't build infrastructure. They just pulled out, and then we went in. And then they flipped on us, and then we're in the conflict with them.
Well, what happened was that we were by proxy fighting Russians. When they invaded Afghanistan, we fed the Mujahideen. We gave them weapons and all this sort of technology to help them out.
So
And
how come we're not doing that for
left.
Ukraine? It's interesting, ain't it?
We giving them weapons.
We're trying not to do it. We're not trying to do it.
Well, they knew that we was
the
doing.
Weapons. We're trying to do it by proxy. That's what my guess is. But
we directly did it in Afghanistan. They knew it. We knew it, and neither side cared.
Different day and age. You know.
I know.
Different.
Gentlemen, I gotta bow out.
All right.
Yo,
Check you guys later.
Yo, stay hard.
All right, there, man.
All right, Black Steel. Come on.
Checking those facts. Checking those facts.
I got a letter
Right.
from the
His
president.
name is Black
The
Steel.
other day, I opened it and read it.
Would you like me to make stealing jokes? Now I'm gonna stick with my hard jokes.
Oh, that's
The jokes stay hard.
Night, gentlemen. All right, later.
Night.
All right, man.
All right.
So anyhow, here's nothing that I'm noticing about this Ukraine thing is that like all of a sudden everybody's from Ukraine, man. All of a sudden, you notice that shit,
You
man.
probably had a lot
Yeah.
So many people just I'm quarter Ukrainian. People just
They never talked about it before.
I'm like, really? All this time?
One of the wrestlers are
Abstracts
like,
from the Ukraine.
You from the Ukraine too?
I am. Some part of me is actually.
You're 1/4. You're 1/16 Ukrainian.
128th. But yeah.
1/20th. That makes sense. That makes sense. You get the flag up, put it behind you, man. Put it on your avatar.
Blue and yellow. Blue and yellow.
It just amazed me. I'm like, wow, people are just, and the other thing I think is that could Putin be everyone's saying is Ukrainian, everyone's really is, supporting the Ukrainian people and that's great. Could he be waiting to see how long this lasts? Because we're a month in. 6 months down the road, are we gonna feel the same way? Are we gonna have is it gonna be the same?
I'm worried about that too.
What you call it? You know what I mean? And then he says, okay, now I'm gonna really go and whoop some ass. You know what I mean? Once 6 months later, people aren't as.
But here's the thing. Let's say it lulls and then it starts to explode again. Extra news coverage, same result. The more media attention this can generate, or the more people are watching the commercials to this type of tragedy, the more there's going to be attention, public incentive. The more attention this gets, the more support it gets.
Yeah.
This is a media shit show for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just goes to show you people care about the shit when you put it on the news. It's almost like we don't care about the shit that doesn't get on the news.
No, but it can reach a point of saturation.
Right.
It happened in Afghanistan. Like, I don't know why we forget this stuff.
Yep.
Like,
our
memories are short.
Yep.
We forget this stuff. It can reach a point of saturation where people just get to the point. It's been happening long. We don't care.
Yep. Yep, that's true. It
took us about a year with COVID before everybody wanted to just COVID just to be over. It was what it was. We gotta follow the herd immunity strategy.
Yep.
Like,
so the last thing I was thinking about that's on my mind that I didn't really talk about in a while is Jussie is free. Jussie Smollett is a free man.
Juicie's free.
Juicie's free. He got bail and paid bail and is out on bail. No. Waiting. He's gonna obviously retry things. And at this point, you know what? I really don't want to talk anymore about this shithead and his bullshit, because
I want to say something.
I think what I think happened. He got what he wanted. I think he got he got to where he can kind of claim, I didn't do this. I'm going to fight this. Gets out on jail. He thought he was going to slap on the wrist and it would just maybe pay a fine and be done with it. But he got really stuck. But he got really hit with some actual charges, which, is it fair? Did he really kill anybody? But, he did create a hoax. But I think he
wasted time
in his own, he wasted time and money. Right. But, I think he thought that he could, I could get away with this, and once this is done, I'll put this behind me, or they'll give me a little fine or something. I won't do any jail time, maybe do some community service. I'll be okay. But obviously, it didn't happen, and he got sentenced to a good amount of time. I think Chicago is out to get him to be honest. And you talking to someone who just doesn't believe, who thinks knows he's lying. But I think Chicago is a super crooked city. I'm not going to go sit here and be like, oh, look at the great law.
Anytime you have elected district attorneys, you're going to find some fuck shit. Right. Chicago has elected district attorneys.
Chicago is a completely crooked city with a completely crooked administration. But you know, and I think he wrangled things the best as he can. He got himself some freedom.
You got jokes. Wrangles. I see what you did there. That's really fucked up.
Yeah. So you know that it's. I'm actually at a point where I'm like, you know what, I'm done. I don't give a shit. Go away. Do the hell you want to do. You know. I just want to say, done.
I find it amazing. It get juicy. It just fuck shit. I just find it really interesting that for this whole deal, was anybody on this motherfucker's side? Like at all?
His family.
And
his family.
All right. So he had the support of his family and his family. I just find it really interesting because, like, normally in these type of situations, it was like, nah, man, he's a good actor. Nah, man, he's black or some shit. They look up any excuse they want to defend the person more on the basis of they like the person or they feel he's from a persecuted group or whatever. And that didn't happen this time.
You know what's funny?
Yeah, you want to know why?
You know what's funny?
The black community being gay is still not okay for a large, significant group of folks.
But all right, let me put you like this. One day, when all this R. Kelly stuff happened, he went to jail and everything was going through meet R. Kelly and all this stuff. I somehow found this website, this YouTube page. This guy created this song talking about R. Kelly's innocent, free R. Kelly's African site. And I was like, damn, people are still supporting R. Kelly. And it's like, and it's amazing how few people are actually have support or still supporting Jussie. You know, it's interesting to see how few people are actually supporting him. And I think the thing about this in this case is that him getting bail, it's more of a fact of his family's money, is their access to funds and the ability to get him a good lawyer or to pay to get him out of jail. And that's what basically happened. His family's money is greasing the wheels.
But he's out on bail. That doesn't mean he's not going to get sentenced. There's a difference.
He's out on bail pending a retrial. He's going to try and he's going to appeal the case. So
appeals at a very, very low chance.
Okay, he appeals, and then maybe they say, well, okay, we'll give you 3 months. Still,
also, if he does appeal, that means they have to do a retrial. Like if they did the court the wrong way, you still have to go through trial again and flat out, motherfucker, yo shits do not add up.
So
I'm not mad that somebody makes bail. That doesn't bother me so much. And in this case, he's not gonna like go stalk or kill somebody. He might go and harass himself.
He might go to Subway and get attacked again by some MAGA supporters. So I can tell Mike is really deeply invested in this conversation.
I don't know what to say. Like I don't know what to say here. Like
there's nothing to say. He's just
he fucked up. He created a lot. I don't know why. But he created.
I don't know. Here's what I can't understand. He could have. Once he did. Okay, say he did this. He created this whole scenario, hiring these Nigerian guys to beat him up and with the rope and all this bullshit. Creates a story, right? It unravels. He gets found out. He gets taken to court. The easiest thing for him to do is fall on his sword and say, "Look, I have a drug problem. I thought I could and coalesce around some sort of drug or alcohol problem. Go into treatment, write a book. He's good. You know what I mean?
Oh, that would have been real smart.
A year or two, he'd be past this. He could be right back in. He could be getting back on the boat again. This is going to stick with him for the rest of his life.
Well, there's also just narcissism.
It is. It really is.
It's entirely possible that he's just narcissistic and just cannot.
Where was his career going to go after Empire?
Movies.
I don't know. He could have gone a lot of places.
I mean,
He went a lot of places.
It wasn't
clearly attractive. I'm assuming he's a good actor.
He could have made music. He could have gone to music. There, you know, this day and age is music has a lot more variety now. You think this has been the '90s, and he was a gay artist. He couldn't really go anywhere. There wasn't really many avenues for male artists that were gay to make music. But now, come on, the lanes are all open. He could do movies. He could, you know, his family is they're entrenched in Hollywood. His sister was on what you call Lovecraft Country. So
she's in a lot of stuff. She's in a lot of stuff.
She's a talented actress in her own right. But I think he has just black marked his entire career. He can't. I don't think there's any way he can live this down. If you know, even if he goes and he fights this, he retries his case, and let's say he gets found in.
It's just the fact that who's going to hire him,
right?
Like I'm not hiring you.
What if he plays Justice League 2, Jesse Smollett's as Cyborg?
I will come to your house and slap you.
Yeah, I'll do that shit too.
Oh shit! I got a reaction out of Trigger.
I think I would boycott that movie.
What's your address? Tell me.
I think I would boycott that movie.
I ain't on Google Maps, brother. I ain't on Google Maps. I'm me.
Motherfucker, I bet you are on Google Maps, the way they do those pictures and shit.
Yeah,
I bet I can find a picture of you.
Location not found. Location not found, Mike.
Bro, you on the grid.
I gotta scrub my name, my house off of Google Maps somehow. I forgot to do that. So, but yeah, that's it. I have no more to say about Juicy anymore. You know, let him do his own thing. That's it.
That's what you got to do.
Regards to that,
he made his decisions.
Yeah, he made.
They were bad ones. And
good Lord, they were bad.
What I find interesting about it is still this motherfucker, before any of this shit went down, was clearly the type of narcissistic, dumb motherfucker who would do this type of shit.
Yeah,
I think no matter what happened, like if this motherfucker had a time machine to tell himself not to do it, he's probably so much of a narcissist he would still do it. He kept doubling down and never learned the fucking lesson.
He quadrupled down.
Yeah, he did.
Quadrupled down and
never really
fist.
Doubling down doesn't work well for people. You may win in the short term, but long term, you will lose.
And again, I mentioned earlier, Tawana Brawley. Remember when who did the same thing like that? Morton Downey, some stupid shit like that. And he wrote the message backwards. That's why they found out about him. You know, and there's who was the other case? There's Susan Smith, who obviously killed her kids, and who's the other person? The Duke rape case that fell apart because some bullshit, you know, because it was a fake what you call it. But he's put himself in some really splendid company. So good luck to him.
Can we do let's do a quick little tech corner. I want to see what y'all think about this. I know y'all heard that what is it? Warner is buying Discovery. Like I'm afraid. Like I have Discovery Plus. I have no desire to have HBO Max. I wonder how much it's gonna cost. I wonder how they're gonna do it, if I still will be able just to have Discovery content, because I really don't want.
They're gonna merge it all.
I know, but I don't want to pay. I ain't trying to pay another $20 for a service, so I might have to.
But here's the thing:
you have to buy more books, then, bro.
No, I might have to flip in between. I might have to do 3 months runs of 3 months of Disney Plus, and then 3 months of whatever the hell this shit is gonna become.
I mean, there's a lot on HBO Max. Like
there is a lot.
No, I had it for a while. It didn't appeal to me.
It did. Not even the DC part of it. DC and
they got anime up on there.
Yeah, there's a lot on there. They even have TCM.
Most of the animated DC stuff I bought. Like,
yeah, that stuff I don't really watch. I mean, there's the shows, but they have the Turner Classic Movies. The cinematic stuff. It's you know,
bully Mike so he watches the Batman movie, including the Long Halloween one.
That's on there too.
No, like put this way, how can I say this? For me, I'm oversaturated with Batman. I still find Superman somewhat interesting now. I really like Superman and Lois because it's kind of getting back. I like seeing Superman as a father. It's getting back to sort of his Boy Scout roots. I like it, but I haven't, like, Superman hasn't been oversat. Batman is just like, the ground is saturated with water. It can hold no water. It is running off.
But they'll always make another Batman movie because it'll.
No, they will, and they're going to continue. And
judge the movie on its own merits. I swear to God.
Look, Aaron, you are not listening.
Hold on. You hijacking my. I want to talk about this new Batman movie. I want to talk about that. We already did. Just go, please. I don't want to talk about that. In a sense, it was kind of fortunate because I could have seen an earlier Marvel doing that with Spider-Man, but because they had, like, Sony had the rights and all of that stuff, and like the live action Spider-Mans were not great. The last one, I enjoyed it. It was good. I'm not going to say it was the best Marvel movie ever. I don't know what movie that people saw that I saw. But it was good.
I think people just inflate, Spider-Man movies.
Well, they inflated Spider-Man movies, and it was COVID, and people got out. So, because to me, I don't think that the last Spider-Man movie was better than Infinity War or Endgame. It was good. It was entertaining. It was nice seeing all three of them together and their interactions, seeing the old villains.
I agree, but I think to compare them to those movies are unique movies. Those movies are like the
well, put it this way: if I had the choice to watch Winter Soldier or that Spider-Man, I would watch Winter Soldier.
Come on, man, that's the best.
I'd watch Spider-Man.
That's like the best of the best. And Winter Soldier is no joke.
I watched Black Panther before I watch. I rewatch. I still watch. Rewatch Black Panther. I would probably rewatch. Let's see, what's the other ones?
I watched 3/4 of Black Panther.
Yeah, Thor Ragnarok.
That's a good movie.
Yes, it is.
This is fun. It's fun. It's fun, but it also has a good you can watch it. It's fun, and it really.
I think I'm gonna make myself watch Age of Ultron because that was my least favorite one. But I'm gonna give Christian Slater as the emotional Ultron another try this weekend.
Was that Christian Slater? I think that was another actor.
Who was it?
I think it was Christian Slater. Yeah, the voice.
Or
no,
wait, no.
Not Christian Slater.
No, it was somebody else. So I'm getting it wrong. You're right.
Some famous character actor.
Yeah.
I gotta look.
But let's see what else. What else was a good Marvel? I mean, the Ant-Man movies were enjoyable. They were funny. They were entertaining. The last Spider-Man was probably a little bit better than them to me.
James Spader?
Yeah, Spader.
Yep.
Oh, because you said Slater. You were real close.
We're close.
Yeah, Spader. Because he was on the Lost show.
The last Spider-Man movie, but it's pretty high up there. It was good. It got me.
And I still like, out of all the Spider-Man stuff, like Into the Spider-Verse is probably my favorite Spider-Man.
Actually, I think the first Spider-Man with the Vulture was probably the better. I like to watch.
Oh, the Vulture. That's
Vulture was really good.
That's my favorite live action one.
Because it
Michael
was a different
Keaton.
look. Michael Keaton.
No,
the whole look of him being this sort of this working class.
No, Michael Keaton slayed it.
Hero, yeah. So that one I really liked. Anyhow, so what's going? Anything else, fellas?
No,
I got nothing.
Nah, we can keep talking about Spider-Man though.
We ever gonna see a live action Miles?
Eventually, yeah, I think so. Yeah,
that's a fucking inevitability. The question is, who's gonna play him?
Guess who could play him?
Don't say James
in a couple years. No. Yes, I think that he can play him. The boy that plays Blackish.
Yeah, I think I know you're talking about. Yeah, possibly.
No, he could. I think that he could do it in a couple
Possibly.
of years.
I mean, I don't.
Because his acting has gotten a lot better, and he has he can do like the little street smart stuff. Like, yeah, his acting has gotten a lot better. Now that he's like a teenager, him and his twin, it's hilarious.
I could see that. That's a good point. Yeah. I'm waiting to see what are your thoughts? Just we're talking comic stuff. What are your thoughts on Moon Knight?
I haven't watched it yet.
Hasn't come on yet. Starting next week, I think.
Yeah, on the 30th. Yeah. No, wait and see.
I don't know. I mean, I'm an Oscar Isaac fan, and
because I'm trying to. I mean, I've seen one trailer. I'm trying to avoid it because I don't know what their vision of or what aspect of Moon Knight they're going to do.
Yeah, but I'll watch it. Obviously, I'm a fan of Oscar Isaac.
I know what I wanted to talk about with comics. Have y'all heard? When I heard this stuff on what was it? I think it's they pronounce it amputee. It's AIPT Comics Podcast, but they're getting ready to change the Punisher because
they changed his logo. I've read, yeah.
They're changing the logo's changing, but he's going to guess what the Punisher is going to be. He's going to be the leader of the hand.
He's going to deliver flowers.
No, he's going to be the leader of the hand. He's not going to use guns. He's going to be a ninja. Like I am.
Well, you know what though.
No, it's
go ahead. Go ahead.
No. It's them. It's them bowing. No. It's them bowing down to other folks. Like Marvel's not suing folks for copyright, which they could do. And I'm not saying that's the best way to handle it, but I think a good way to handle it, just to have people sort of selectively disavow themselves from the logo. I would start new Punisher, a series or series. I would do movies, TV shows where the Punisher is going after corrupt police folks. He's working with the good police folks, and like he has his symbol, and I would make that symbol prominent so that the folk like, oh no, I would flip the script, or I would flip the script on them.
You know, you got a good point. I've never.
He's killed cops in the past.
I haven't seen where he's taking on corruption. I would really like
make that the focus.
I would really like to see a arc of the Punisher where he's not necessarily looking at. You know, we've seen the Punisher take down the mafia. I like to see him take down a crooked police system. You know what I mean? Like,
but really, they can have him go from major city to major city. Like he's cleaned it up in this city, he's moving on to the next city.
Oh, but that would be the bad type of controversy.
Why?
Oh, no.
Why? He's taking down corrupt cops. He's working with the honest cops and the honest legal system to get the corrupt cops that they can't.
That would take Marvel actually having balls and Disney, the parent company.
Yeah, that's what they should do to take back their symbol. If you're going to sue,
they can.
Disney
and worse than that, all the negative publicity or any publicity would actually make them make more money because it would draw attention to it. I've always stood by this, even with bad comics. Controversy sells comics. Go for it. Ologists, you've had some amazing ideas. This shit's number one. Tell me all the fucking.
Yeah, I'm going for a Punisher thing about that. And I wonder, have they ever considered making the Punisher like a mantle, where it's not just for, you know what I mean? Because I think when you have it where it's Frank Castle, he's got so much backstory and so much, you know. So why not make it where where it's like a mantle?
That's an even better idea.
You know what I mean?
That's an even better idea.
Give him War Machine's armor.
No. It's already done. Batman Incorporated, where Batman they could do that and have him be in every city, and then he kind of trains folks. Street.
No. We need to write a treatment for this, man. Sit down, write a treatment.
Put us on payroll.
All right,
folks. I think we're
Mike is trying to run away from ologists. Is clearly
any parting words? Any parting words, folks?
No,
man.
My life is fantastic.
Find your boy. My parting word is find your boy that got ghosts. Like we don't need no text message and prima donna.
Yeah, come on, man.
Like
y'all gotta chill out.
Like you can't just be up in the comments and then just like when it's time to talk.
Yeah, they don't show up. Oh, I got a female coming over. I don't want to hear that, man. I don't want to hear that, man. I don't want to hear that.
Like, if you had a woman coming over, you wouldn't be typing.
You would be texting 24 hours a day.
Anybody that gets laid ain't this.
Ain't got the damn energy to be texting 400 times a day. Do something, man.
I don't even have a job right now, and I ain't texting this much.
All right, fellas. All right, man. Peace.
Oh, wait, before we go, I had something I wanted to say.
What do you want to say?
Hey.
If you know any victims of crime, send them my way. It is my literal job to help them.
Okay. Well,
all right.
I literally get paid to do it. Not on the commission kind of thing, but still.
No,
I know. We can put your information in the below.
Yeah, text it
to us. Put your information there. All right,
I'll send you guys an email. I think I've got everyone's email address.
All right.
I'll do it at my office on Monday.
All right.
All right.
All right. I'll see you later.
Peace.